This is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I want to demonstrate a technique that's called the frame die cut technique. And this technique I've seen done by another crafter who I love watching. I thought it was incredibly complicated. Incredibly complicated because there were really a lot of different pieces of paper. I want to do a example where I'm using concentric dies rather than thin frame dies, which are basically the dies that have the concentric rings cut out in it. I'm going to use concentric dies to create this frame die cut technique. You don't have to invest in the new thin frame dies that are currently being advertised. So here's a much easier and faster way to create this concentric background. Now I wanted this group of cards here that I'm showing you, I created by just simply going through my scrap pile and picking an array of colors. I need a color for each one of the concentric rings for my dies, and I just simply glued them using all-purpose glue. I also kept the outside piece of the cardstock that I did the die cut, and I used it as a mat. Now I am in love with the foam adhesive sheets that Stampin' Up! Has come out of on there in the annual catalog. I used it with black cardstock, and it just really just pops, a real pow. Now I wasn't planning to do this, so I had to go through my stash of retired items and find some different types of word framelets or frame thinlets that could be used for my particular project, and this is what I came with. I think this is the only one that is a current die, but these have all been retired. But it kind of gives you an idea of how nice the word dies are with this particular technique. And if you go to the annual catalog, there are plenty of samples of dies that can be used. And I say that because I'm going to turn over here on page 183. This is the well-written that I used right here. I used this thanks right here from the well-written dies, and then they have all these that are the New Year's, Christmas, Valentine's. So this is a nice selection as well, but look at these other ones here. They have the Sweet Silhouettes dies that have some neat words in it, and if you go over here, you'll see that they have, and I saw it, and let me find it, it says happy. Some really good, oh here it is, it's with the so much happy. There's the word happy that is spelled out. Now when you're doing a concentric circle or concentric shape, there are also a lot of options in the catalog. The die bundles, the right triangle bundle, and of course I used for the layering, not the layering circles, I used the stitched framed shapes, and you can see how nice, how really pretty the stitching came around, and kind of added a bit of extra texture. And then I used the embossing folder that comes with the it's the Tasteful Textile embossing folder to kind of emboss that mat, and I just think that really came out well. So lots of options that are available to you, even though I'm using some retired products. I just wanted to point that out, but you really get a really nice array of cards, and everything is going to be matted on black cardstock. So let's go ahead and get started. This is really nice because you can kind of put the dies on here, press them, and they'll stay in place. So let me show you what we're going to do for this project. For this project, I'm using the rectangle stitch shapes. Here they are. I basically just laid them down on a flat surface like this. I organized them into their concentric shapes. They may not be perfect, but that's okay. And then I used the press and seal multi-purpose sealing wrap, and now they're in perfect, they're not going to go anywhere. So now I can use these on my die cut machine. Now the colors I chose, and I'm just going to go ahead and put these back because these are the other framelits that I'm not going to use right now. The colors that I use are from my favorite DSP right now is the In Good Taste Designer Series paper. I just love the shapes and colors that come out of this Designer Series paper. So I just flipped it around and I came up with the colors here. I have, let's see, I've got some basic gray, and I have some gray granite. I have Night of Navy. I have petal pink, I have rococo rose, and I also have, I just added some misty moonlight. So I think I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 pieces of cardstock, 6 colors, and it should go ahead and correspond with the number of framelits that you're using. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 framelits. You need 6 pieces of cardstock. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take each one of the pieces of cardstock, and I'm going to start one by one, and I'm going to run them through my Big Shot, and I'm going to ensure that they're centered nicely because I'm going to use each one of these pieces as a mat for my final composition. Okay, so now I just simply oh, I don't like this at all. I don't like how this stuck to my paper. See that? I don't like that. So I'm going to have to trim this, but let me go ahead and get rid of that. I can use the other side, but I don't like that it stuck to my paper. So let's just go ahead and trim this so I don't have that happen again. Simply going to pop up and pull out all these frames, and I'm going to keep all these frames kind of in one place. Just kind of bend these and pull out my frames. Okay, so now I have all my pieces of parts. These are my frames. I have all my pieces and parts cut out with all my different colors. Now, the way I'm going to approach this is that the color I start out with, and I'm going to use my silicone mat, The color that I start out with on the outside is the color that I'm going to end up with on the inside. I'm just going to make sure that all my edges are clean. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this piece down. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to run a very thin bead of glue. And I'm starting with my dark color first. Bring it here, and I'm just going to lay that down on my Whisper White. Now my Whisper White is cut at 5 1/4 by, I think it's, and I just want to make sure, what I want to make sure is I want to make sure that my outside edge looks good. Don't worry about the inside. So that is 5 1/4 by 4, okay? And this is going to go layered on a piece of black cardstock. So just focus on your outside edges being even, okay? Then I'm going to pick my next color, and maybe it will be blue. Let me go ahead and pick. So that was going to be a blue color. And then I'm going to pick gray. And then I'm going to pick another gray. And then I'm going to pick a light pink. Make sure I turn that around right. And then I'm going to pick, no, I'm going to need this one here. And then my blue is the center. So that is how my card is going to go. It's going to go like that. Let's go ahead and pick Okay, so here they are. I've done all my pieces, and this is what I come up with. So now I'm going to take these and we're going to put them on black cardstock. And I'm going to cut out of this. I'm going to go ahead and make a thank you card. Here is a piece of cardstock, and this is cut at 4 1/4. This fits perfectly at 4 1/4. See that? So you can just go ahead and peel off this back and then just lay it on your cardstock right here at 4 1/4. Okay, and now we can go ahead and we can cut out our die cut. And then here we go. Let's pull this off. And I'm going to grab my tool, and I'm just going to poke these through. And these are going to come off right back here. Okay, let me pull this out of the frame. And I'm going to pull out my back piece. When I pull out my back piece, some of these other pieces come out. If not, you're going to have to pull them off. See, I need this pulled out right here. Pull that out. I need this pulled out right there. And then I need this little piece right here pulled out. There we go. So now that I have all those pieces off, let's go ahead and take this piece right here and let's put thank you right across it like that. And this little corner got a little bit messed up, but I'm just going to snip it because I don't want it to get... And there you go. Isn't that pretty? So now I can go ahead and I can put that on my cardstock, and I have my card. So here you go. I've completed the cards. These are the easy frame die cut techniques using our layering stitched framelits to make all these beautiful cards here. Here I used our stitch circle dies, and using these really neat foam adhesive sheets to kind of provide some really neat depth and drama to our cards. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I've shown you how easy it is to use your concentric dies to create this frame die cut technique. You don't have to invest in the thin frame dies that are being advertised. You can use this technique and come up with the same result. Thank you so much for watching me. Stay safe. If you like, please hit like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you for the next video. Kat Chancellor, Stamp Art Connection, and StampArtConnection.com. Happy stamping. Stay well.